Welcome to the Academic Woman Amplified podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Mazak, tenured full professor, mom of three, and firm believer that the culture of academia needs to change radically. Women are revolutionizing academia within institutions that were not built for us. If you're ready to reject the culture of overwork, kick guilt and overwhelm to the curb, and amplify your voice to make a real impact on your field without breaking down or burning out, you're in the right place. And it all starts with writing. Let's go. Welcome to today's podcast episode. I just can't wait to dig in to this idea of writing as an organizer. But first, I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by our newly refreshed Amplify program. Our Amplify program is a 6-month coaching program for early career women who really want to feel confident and comfortable going up for tenure or promotion, depending on where you are in the world. And I would love to invite you personally to attend our info session about Amplify. We are opening enrollment now for the program. We are going to run it only once this year, and that will be in September. So all summer we are going to be enrolling, but the spots are already going fast. So you'll definitely want to come to our info session on June 23rd at noon Eastern time, where you can find out all the details about our program, see our newly refreshed program framework, hear about all the program parts, and decide if Amplify is right for you. There's a link in the show notes to register for that info session on June 23rd. I hope you can make it. I'd love to see you there. Now, let's get started. Today, we are talking about writing as an organizer. We think about writing, and I talk about writing on this podcast, as the currency of academia, right? The essential thing that needs to get done in order for you to get a job, keep a job, get promoted. Writing can feel really weighty. But today I want to talk about how writing can serve you in your career in a different way. And that's by being an organizer. And I've found that writing is an organizer of 3 kind of main areas in your career life or your work life. One of them is writing as an organizer of your thoughts. The second one is writing as an organizer of your time. And the third one is writing as an organizer of your career. So let's get into these 3 ways that writing can serve you as an organizer. All right. The first one, writing as an organizer of your thoughts. Well, as someone who is writing a book right now and who has been kind of furiously writing a book for the last 6 months, I really feel this one. So let me explain. For years, I have been blogging about academic writing and career. I have now over 80 podcast episodes of me talking about writing and academia. But it was really the process of writing this long form book about this topic of making time to write that helped me articulate and solidify what I really think and believe and want to communicate about this topic. And I bet that that's happened to you before as well, that in the process of writing is when you figure out those ideas, right? You make the path by walking it, right? To quote in English, a famous poem in Spanish. But part of what writing does for you is by making those thoughts and connections that you've been working on in your research kind of linear and concrete on the page, it helps you to understand what you think. So the process of writing actually helps you to organize your thoughts. And what ends up happening is that you write your way to revelations. You write your way to your big ideas. You write your way to those kind of, I hope, right, field influencing things that you want to say. And writing is kind of unique in that process. Yes, we can get at it by presenting and certainly by talking to people, but the structured way that we have to sit down and kind of put one word after the other forces us to organize our thoughts and ideas. And that can lead to big revelations. So an important function that writing has in your career is to actually organize your thoughts and help you see what you think, right? Writing makes your thoughts articulate and concrete and can lead to big revelations. So if you're not writing, then you're really not living up to your scholarly potential, because the process of writing is going to help develop you as a scholar by just simply organizing your thoughts, making them concrete and articulate, and kind of showing you what you think. Writing as an organizer, number 2. Writing can organize your time. All right, let me explain what I mean about this. As academics, what usually is organizing our time is our teaching and our meetings. So the external structure of the university's system, right? The class schedule, the committee meetings, those things are usually what goes on your calendar first. And then you wiggle in your writing time around that. In the leftovers of your time is often where your writing lands. So I want to suggest, and I've suggested in other podcasts, that instead, if we use writing as an organizer of your time, then not only can you get more writing done, but it gives your whole career a structure around a central theme that can help you to make good decisions. We'll get to that in the organize your career part. Let me stick here to organizing your time. So what I would like to suggest to you is using writing sessions, your writing sessions, to impose structured time and center yourself in your daily activities instead of centering what everybody else wants you to do. So let me paint the picture of what this looks like. When you look out on your week or your month, right, or your semester, what we usually do when we're planning is first we put our teaching schedule on the calendar, and then we put our meeting schedule on the calendar, and then we might try to fit in our writing time. Maybe then goes like our personal obligations for like caring for family members or picking up and dropping off people or whatever, that goes on there. And then in the little edges of your time goes writing. Instead, what I'm suggesting, in order to use writing as an organizer of your time, that you take your week or your semester, right, as a blank slate. And the first thing that goes on there is your writing time. Okay, your writing sessions are the first thing, not the last thing, that gets scheduled onto your calendar. And then you build your calendar around those. That's a big mindset shift, right? That means that you have to put yourself and your scholarship first. Now, there's a million reasons going on in your head right now about why this is not going to work. Okay, so maybe you're in a position that you don't have so much control over your teaching schedule. But let's do this as an exercise. Let's think about this. Let's try to unveil the possibilities of what just organizing your time, using writing as an organizer of your time, of what it can do just as an exercise. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You take the week or the month or the semester as a blank slate. Then the first thing that goes on your calendar are your writing sessions. Now, in our programs, we teach about what we call soaring sessions. And the idea behind a soaring session is that you're going to create for yourself and you're going to select the best times of day when you're going to feel the most energy and drive, and kind of that idea of a soaring bird uplifted by invisible currents, right? You want to find that time of day for yourself, or create that same feeling by writing with somebody else. And then the third way, if neither of those ways work for you, or you, for whatever reason, can't do one of those two ways, the third way is just to write first thing. So write first thing when you get to work, not first thing in the morning, right? Like your first work activity of the day is writing, Not checking email, not scrolling social, not any of those things. But the first thing you do when you sit at your desk or begin your workday is writing. So the first thing that goes on your calendar are writing sessions. And again, just to give you kind of like the 101 version of what we teach in our programs, and you can hear this on the podcast in different episodes as well, you're going to try to aim for 1 to 2 writing sessions of about an hour long, once or twice a week. You do not have to put writing every day on your calendar, and I actually don't think you should, because it's just unrealistic for most professors, right, with a teaching load. So what does that mean? There's those 3 ways I talked about to decide when in that, if your whole week is a blank slate, well, when the heck do you put your writing on there? You could choose anything. So here's how I want you to make the choice. One of these 3 ways. Either, as I just mentioned, you just do it first thing in the morning. So you pick 2 or 3 days and you mark on your calendar, you block off on your calendar 1 hour, first working hour of the day. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to find a partner or a friend or join a co-writing program like our Momentum program, right? And co-write with someone. And co-writing just means that you are writing at the same time in the same space, either virtual or real, right? Either in person, if you can meet somebody in person, that also works. In our co-writing program, we do it through Zoom. So you just make a Zoom meeting, you get on, you stay muted, you put your goals in the chat, you write for an hour. At the end, you check in about your goals, and that's it. But the fact that you're doing it with somebody else helps you to like keep that butt in the chair, right? And you kind of feed off each other's energy as well. So again, you're looking at your blank calendar, you grab your friend and you decide on 1 or 2 of these co-writing sessions per week, and you put them in your calendar and you do them consistently. And then the kind of core way that I teach is to use what I call your soaring state, which is the opposite of your slogging state. Your soaring state is the kind of time of day when you feel the most energy and drive. And again, that kind of like uplifted by invisible energy in the sense of like soaring rather than slogging, which is when it feels really hard to write or to do anything. So you can observe this about yourself over a series of days, kind of keep a little journal to try to figure out when those best energy times are, and then block off again 1 or 2 times a week, 1 or 2 hours during those soaring state times when you just the natural time of day that you have the best energy and drive. I know for myself that that's in the morning between 8 and about 11. And so every week I try to have 2 or 3 writing sessions of 1 hour that land in that 8 to 11 time period. Okay. So then after you do that, right, you get your writing on your calendar first, then you put your teaching and your committee meetings and your other commitments on your calendar. And writing then becomes the organizer of your time, right? Instead of giving it the dredges of your time, you are giving it you are making it the most important by giving it first dibs on your time. Now, again, this might not be something you can actually implement because of maybe you are in a position where you don't have any control over your teaching schedule or whatever. But I want you to do it as an exercise. It's kind of like the ideal week idea, which I have an episode about somewhere in the first 10 episodes. There's the ideal week episode. I want you to start to imagine, and actually not just imagine, but write down what it is that would be ideal for you, right? What does it actually look like to let writing organize your time? Because unless you can see that, you can't take action to make it happen. So the way that writing is an organizer, number 2, is using writing to organize your time. Hey there, I just want to interrupt myself before I go on to the 3rd way that writing is an organizer, to give a shout out to anyone who is early career, pre-tenure, and you're thinking, there's no way I could do these things. I want you to come to our Amplify info session. In our Amplify program, we teach you, and really with a lot of respect and acknowledgement of power differentials, how you can take control of your career and really make it work for you. So if you're resisting the idea that you could put writing first on your calendar, if you're kind of thinking, oh, that's great for other people, but not for me, and you're pre-tenure, and maybe you're a little bit afraid to rock the boat and you don't want to make anyone angry who might be on your tenure review committee, I want you to come to this info session. Okay. I mentioned it at the top. I'll say again, on June 23rd at noon Eastern time, we are having an information session about our Amplify Faculty Writing Accelerator program. It's our early career program. And at this info session, we are going to be teaching you what we have learned over the course of running our Amplify program for 2 years now with over 50 participants. And we've actually kind of based on our experience with the program, we've kind of zhuzhed it up and made it even better. And I can't wait to show you the framework, our revised framework for our Amplify program and our revised 6-month container for this program. If you're having any resistance around the idea of putting your writing first and your early career, I want you at that info session. So find the link in the show notes and sign up, and I'll see you there. Way number 3 that writing can be an organizer is writing as an organizer of your career. All right. Now, again, you might have caught on to the fact that on this podcast, I love to talk about you taking control of your career, you being the driver, you designing your career, not just kind of letting yourself be blown in the wind or listen to what other people are saying about what your career should be about. I want your career to be designed from a place of deep desire and knowing inside of you so that you can be the most effective scholar and have the most satisfying career that you can have. Because again, you're going to be a much better scholar if you feel like your everyday life in your job is calm and satisfying, right? That's what I really want for all of you. So one way that we talk about how to achieve that inside of our programs is by using writing as an organizer of your career. So when you put writing at the center of your career, it can give your career direction and focus. It tightens your career narrative. It makes all of your activities, when this is done right, and this is, again, a process that we do inside of our programs, when you articulate that academic mission statement and you make it about what your research area and what your writing is about, and then you audit all your activities and make them line up to support, make sure they all support that academic mission statement. When you organize your time around your writing, all of those things build to organizing your career, letting your writing be an organizer of your career. When you're doing a great job at building your pipeline, you are figuring out who your work is in conversation with, right? You are understanding deeply your ideal reader and your ideal audience and your ideal journal and your ideal colleagues. So writing can be the entry point into all of these other career building activities, collaborations, and even just like the way that we express our scholarship in the world, right, through writing can help you to make decisions about what journals you want to publish in, what pieces you want to work on next, how you want to get your pipeline to flow. So writing can be very powerful as an organizer of your career. And again, this is something that we teach inside of our programs. We teach it in our Navigate course, and then we really develop this idea inside of our Amplify pre-tenure program, and to a different kind of extent inside of our Elevate post-tenure program. So writing can be an organizer of your career. You can use your writing as a way to make decisions about what you're going to do next in your career, about what projects get to come onto your schedule and which ones need to go. When you're really focused on that mission statement, when you're really focused on the role of writing and how all your activities can support your writing, you just become a better decision maker and your career narrative gets super tight and focused. And your career direction gets focused intentionally. And that's what I really want to get to, right? I really want you to start to think about writing as an organizer for your thoughts and your time and your career, because I want you to, use writing intentionally to make your career better and to make your everyday life better, instead of always feeling like writing's falling to the bottom of your list, right? And then in the process of writing falling to the bottom of your list, you never get to have those scholarly breakthroughs of the writing, organizing your thoughts, right? Of writing your way to revelations. If you never get to writing, or if writing gets scraps of time, or if writing is rushed, then you don't get to have those kind of deep thoughts about your field in the same way as you could if you had spaciousness in your calendar for writing. And all of that influences your career, right? Like this all goes into building a career that you really want for yourself, that is about what you want it to be about, and that also feels like you want it to feel, right? It doesn't feel like you're always behind, that you're always stressed, that you don't know what your next move is. Organizing your career around your writing can solve all of those problems. All right? So think about it. Try the organizing your time around your writing exercise. See what thoughts come up for you. And if you are early career, whether you are in a North American context or a context where tenure is the marker that divides early career from mid-career, whether you're in one of those contexts or a different context, our Amplify program is for you. So I would love for you to come to our info session on June 23rd. You have the registration link right here in the show notes, and I just can't wait to see you there. Have a great day. I'm so honored that you spent your valuable time listening to this episode. Thank you. Before I go, I want to ask you, do you have an almost done article languishing in a virtual drawer? How about a new writing project that you just haven't been able to make the time to start yet? How about a piece of writing in the messy middle that you need to revive? Well, I've got the solution for you. Writing Sprint Blueprint. The Writing Sprint Blueprint is a powerful productivity tool for overwhelmed academics who want to get stalled out publications out of their pipelines and into the world. And it's only $27. And when you grab Writing Sprint Blueprint, you'll get my private motivational podcast feed called Stick to the Plan. It's 10 mini episodes of around a minute each that you can listen to right from your favorite podcast app to motivate you during your writing sprint. So what are you waiting for? Follow the link in the show notes to get Writing Sprint Blueprint today. I'll see you inside.